Look around you. Society is filled with men who have lost themselves in the pursuit of female approval. Their dreams are gathering dust. Their potential is buried beneath the need to be liked, chosen, or noticed. But a man of vision doesn't have time to beg for attention. He's too busy building something worthy of it. You were not created to orbit around someone else's expectations. You were made to lead, to conquer, to create. But you cannot do that if every move you make is dictated by how it will be perceived by women. Look around you. The world is filled with men who have lost themselves in the pursuit of validation. They wake up every morning not with a fire to chase their destiny, not with a hunger to build something great, but with a mind preoccupied with how they are perceived. Every decision, every action, every movement is filtered through the lens of approval. They check their phones obsessively, hoping for a response that will make them feel worthy. They structure their goals around what will impress others instead of what will fulfill their purpose. They alter their character, compromise their integrity, and silence their convictions, all for the sake of being chosen, being accepted, being liked. And the result? A life lived in reaction, not in direction. A man who is easily swayed by external validation is a man who has no foundation. He is like a leaf in the wind, blown in whatever direction pleases the crowd. And yet, the men who make history, the men who shake nations, the men who walk into rooms and command attention, they do not move that way. They are not distracted by who is watching. They are not concerned with who approves. They are driven by an internal compass that refuses to be altered by outside noise. The most dangerous man in the world is the one who does not need to be seen to know he is great. He moves in silence, he builds in private, and he operates from a place of deep, unshakable confidence. He does not chase, he creates. He does not beg, he attracts. And it is this kind of man who naturally commands the respect that others seek so desperately. Your focus is your most valuable asset. It is the currency that determines what you build, what you become, and what you leave behind. But when your attention is constantly diverted, when your energy is wasted on seeking validation, you are robbing yourself of the ability to create something of worth. Every time you break your momentum to seek approval, you delay your own greatness. A man on a mission does not have time to pause and wonder if his journey is admired by others. He is too busy climbing, too busy building, too busy sharpening himself for the next level. And the irony? It is the man who ignores validation that ends up receiving it the most. Because people respect discipline. They respect men who do not waver. They respect those who move with certainty, with strength, with unbreakable focus. The question is, what are you doing with your energy? Where is your focus going? Are you spending your time trying to be noticed, or are you spending it becoming someone worth noticing? You cannot have both. You must choose. You must decide whether you will live in pursuit of approval or in pursuit of purpose. Because the man who controls his focus controls his future. If your confidence is tied to how someone else treats you, then you are not standing on solid ground. You are standing on shifting sand. A man who allows his emotions to be dictated by external approval is a man who has surrendered his strength. The world will test you. People will reject you. Women will come and go. And if your identity is wrapped up in how others see you, then you will spend your life rising and falling with every wave of emotion, never truly in control of your own destiny. Emotional independence is the ability to remain steady regardless of external circumstances. It is the foundation of true masculinity. A man who is emotionally independent does not break when someone withdraws. Their affection does not crumble when ignored and does not waver when faced with rejection. He is not heartless, but he is unshaken. He feels deeply, but he is not controlled by those feelings. He understands that emotions are meant to be mastered, not obeyed. Many men live as emotional slaves. They attach their worth to how women respond to them. A compliment makes them feel invincible. A rejection makes them feel worthless. A text message or the absence of one determines their mood for the entire day. This is not power. This is weakness disguised as longing. And as long as your emotions are tied to how others perceive you, you will never walk in the full strength of who you were meant to be. The truth is, people are drawn to strength. Women are drawn to men who do not need them to feel whole. The paradox is that the more you seek approval, the less attractive you become. A man who is truly independent does not ask for permission to be confident. He does not wait for validation to walk with authority. He knows who he is, and that knowledge is unshaken by external affirmation. There's a difference between love and dependency. Love is a choice. Dependency is a chain. Too many men mistake their emotional neediness for devotion. They believe that their inability to function without someone else's approval is proof of love, when in reality, it is a sign of a man who has not yet learned to stand on his own. No one, no woman, no friend, no mentor should have the power to determine your worth. That is something you must establish for yourself. The strength of a man is not measured by how much he can lift, but by how much he can endure without breaking. You must reach a place where rejection does not define you, where absence does not destroy you, and where approval is not your driving force, because the moment you become emotionally independent is the moment you become truly powerful. And when you reach that level of control, you will find that the world and the people in it respond to you differently, not because you sought their attention, but because you no longer need it. A man without purpose is like a ship without a compass, drifting, wandering, easily tossed by the waves of distraction and temptation. He moves, but he goes nowhere. He works, but he builds nothing. He exists, but he does not truly live. And the saddest part? He often does not even realize he is lost because the world has trained him to chase approval instead of destiny. But a man of purpose is different. He is unstoppable, immovable, focused. He does not wake up wondering what others think of him. He wakes up with a mission burning inside him. His actions are intentional, his time is valuable, and his energy is directed towards something greater than himself. Purpose gives him strength. It gives him direction. It makes him dangerous in the best way possible, because a man on a mission cannot be manipulated. When a man lacks purpose, he fills the void with distractions. He chases things that do not matter. He seeks validation from women, from society, from people who do not care about his destiny. He jumps from one shallow pursuit to another, hoping that something will give him the fulfillment he lacks. But no amount of attention, no amount of fleeting pleasure will ever replace the deep satisfaction of knowing you are walking in your calling. The reason so many men feel empty, weak, or restless is because they have no clear direction. They were created to build, to lead, to conquer, but instead they spend their days passively scrolling, aimlessly socializing, or obsessing over relationships that drain them. The truth is, when you are consumed by your purpose, distractions lose their grip on you. You no longer have time to beg for attention because you are too busy building something worthy of it. The irony is that the very things men chase, recognition, respect, admiration, naturally follow the man who is driven by purpose. Women are drawn to men who do not need them to feel whole. Success follows those who are consistent and relentless in their pursuit of something greater than themselves. Influence is a byproduct of living with conviction, but you cannot fake purpose. You cannot pretend to be focused while secretly hoping for validation. Purpose is not about impressing people. It is about fulfilling your assignment on this earth. It is about waking up every morning with a clear mission and refusing to be swayed by temporary pleasures. A man with purpose does not waste his time proving himself. He does not live for applause. He does not beg to be noticed. He builds, he grows, he sharpens himself. and in doing so, he naturally becomes someone people respect. If you do not know your purpose, everything will be a distraction. You will chase things that weaken you. You will waste years running in circles, never becoming the man you were meant to be. But when you lock in on your mission, when you decide to build instead of chase, everything changes. Purpose is power, and when you embrace it, nothing can stop you. There are two kinds of men in this world, those who operate from scarcity and those who operate from abundance. The difference between them is not just in what they have, but in how they think. A man with a scarcity mentality believes that opportunities are limited, that success is rare, and that if he does not grab what is in front of him right now, he may never get another chance. He operates from fear, from desperation, from a place of lack. But a man with an abundance mentality walks with confidence, knowing that he is the source of his own success, that opportunities are limitless, and that he does not need to chase or beg for anything, because what is meant for him will come to him in due time. A scarcity-minded man is terrified of rejection because he believes it is the end. If a woman turns him down, he thinks it means he is unworthy. If a business deal falls through, he assumes he has failed. If one door closes, he stands there staring at it, mourning what he lost instead of moving forward. He lives his life in a constant state of panic, worried that he will never get another shot, that he will never be good enough, that his success is dependent on external forces beyond his control. And because he thinks this way, he acts this way, clinging too tightly, settling for less, lowering his standards just to hold on to what little he believes he has. But a man with an abundance mentality sees the world differently. He understands that life is full of possibilities, that no single person or opportunity defines his worth. If one woman walks away, he knows another will come. If one deal falls through, he knows a better one is on the horizon. If one door closes, he does not waste time knocking. He simply builds his own. This mindset is what separates men who lead from men who follow, men who build from men who beg, and men who command respect from men who chase it. This is why desperation is so unattractive, because it signals scarcity. When a man is desperate, it is clear that he does not believe in his own value. He is showing the world that he thinks this is his only chance, that he believes he has nothing else to offer, that if he loses this moment, he has nothing left. But a man who operates from abundance moves differently. He does not grip too tightly. He does not force things. He does not plead for attention. He walks with assurance, knowing that whatever is meant for him will align with his purpose. The key to shifting from scarcity to abundance is understanding that value comes from within. A man who builds himself, who sharpens his skills, who remains focused on his purpose, will never be in a position of lack. He will always have options, always have opportunities, and always be in control of his own destiny. The world bends to the man who refuses to beg. Attention is not something you chase. It is something you command. The difference between a man who fades into the background and a man who turns heads when he walks into a room is not luck, not genetics, not even wealth. It is presence. It is the unshakable confidence of a man who knows exactly who he is, what he stands for, and where he is going. This kind of man does not seek validation. He does not beg to be noticed. And yet, people notice him. Women respect him. Other men admire him. Why? Because his energy speaks before he ever utters a word. Most men waste their time trying to be seen, not realizing that the more they seek attention, the less they get it. Desperation repels. A man who constantly tries to prove himself, to gain approval, to be liked by everyone, he becomes invisible. He blends in with the masses of those who need external validation to feel whole. But the man who commands attention is different. He does not try to impress. He simply exists in a way that makes an impression. This kind of man does not fidget in social situations. He is comfortable in silence. He does not speak just to fill the air. When he talks, people listen because his words carry weight. He is not overly concerned with what others think of him, and paradoxically, this is why they think highly of him. He does not enter a room seeking approval. He enters knowing that his value is non-negotiable. Strength commands attention, not physical strength alone, but the kind of internal fortitude that makes a man unshakable. When he walks, he moves with certainty. When he speaks, he does so with purpose. He does not look around for permission. This unwavering sense of self draws people to him because confidence is magnetic. Another reason this man stands out is that he is a rare breed. In a world full of men who doubt themselves, who second guess, who waver, the one who stands firm is impossible to ignore. He is not needy, not desperate, not overly eager to please. He is the one who sets the standard, not the one who conforms to it. Women are naturally drawn to this energy, not because he chases them, but because he does not need them. He is focused, disciplined, and entirely in control of his emotions. Men who command attention also carry a sense of purpose. They are too busy building, too focused on their mission, too dedicated to their growth to waste time seeking approval. And because they do not need attention, they receive it effortlessly. The world notices the man who is secure in himself, who moves with intention, who is fully alive in his purpose. When you become this kind of man, attention is no longer something you chase. It is something that follows you everywhere you go. Masculinity has been under attack. In a world that once honored strength, leadership, and resilience, men are now told to soften, to shrink, to suppress the very traits that build civilization. The qualities that once defined a man, his ability to protect, to provide, to lead, are now viewed as problematic, as outdated. And yet, despite all attempts to redefine manhood into something passive and fragile, the truth remains. Real masculinity is not toxic. It is necessary. It is the foundation upon which stability, progress, and order are built. But too many men today are lost, confused. The modern world tells them to be everything at once, strong but not too strong, assertive but not intimidating, confident but not overbearing. They are pulled in different directions, trying to satisfy a culture that does not even know what it wants from them. And in the process, they lose themselves. They become hesitant, insecure, and ultimately ineffective. Real masculinity is not about aggression, nor is it about submission. It is about mastery of self, of purpose, of one's emotions and actions. A man who has mastered himself is not controlled by society's expectations, nor is he controlled by his own impulses. He is disciplined. He is focused. He is grounded in something deeper than fleeting trends and shifting cultural narratives. Masculinity is not measured by dominance, but by responsibility. A true man does not need to prove his strength by tearing others down. He proves it by carrying weight, by shouldering burdens, by leading with conviction. He does not seek power for the sake of control, but for the sake of order. He does not demand respect, he commands it through the way he moves, the way he speaks, the way he builds. A man in his full masculinity is both a warrior and a protector. He is fierce when necessary, yet controlled. He is not swayed by emotions, yet he understands them. He does not seek validation, yet he inspires admiration. This balance is what makes him unstoppable. He does not waste time complaining about the way the world sees him. He defines himself. He builds himself. He sharpens himself daily. The world does not need weaker men. It needs stronger ones. It needs men who are not afraid to take responsibility, to walk with purpose, to embrace their natural calling to lead and to build. But that strength must come from within, not from external validation. A man's worth is not dictated by how society perceives him, but by how he perceives himself. Redefining masculinity does not mean abandoning it. It means returning to its core strength, wisdom, resilience, purpose. It means rejecting the lie that man must shrink to be accepted. Because a man who truly understands his role, his power, and his purpose does not ask for permission to be himself. He simply is. And in that quiet confidence, in that unshakable certainty, the world cannot help but take notice. A man's strength is not found in the approval of others, but in the mastery of himself. The world will push narratives that seek to weaken, distract, and redefine masculinity into something passive and uncertain. But true men do not bow to shifting expectations. They stand firm in their purpose, their discipline, and their conviction. Emotional independence, a mindset of abundance, and a life rooted in purpose separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. The man who commands attention is not the one who begs for it, but the one who is so focused on his mission that the world cannot ignore him. He does not chase, he builds. He does not plead, he attracts. He does not conform, he leads. It is time to reclaim focus, to silence the distractions, to ignore the desperate need for validation and embrace the power of purpose. A man who masters himself